Good morning and welcome to this lecture. So today we will be solving two more numericals, and after that we will see theory on compressor, different type of compressor, condensers, expansion device, evaporators, then cooling towers, and after that refrigerants. So once this is over, module 2 is completed. So here different equations are written related to COP or performance. So first COP is COP actual. Now this COP actual, it is equal to Q dot A actual upon compression power, that is also actual. Okay, so heat taken in evaporator, heat absorbed in evaporator divided by compressor power, that gives actual COP. Now how to measure this Q dot A in actual case? There will be rotameter, and using that rotameter we measure LPH and convert it to kg per second. So this will be mass flow rate of refrigerant into enthalpy difference divided by. So this enthalpy difference, how to get? We will be getting, we can read HP and LP pressure on the setup, and from there we have to plot pH diagram based on the pressure and take the readings of temperature, then plot the vapor compression cycle. There we have to read H1 and H4 value. Next, compressor power. Now this compressor power in actual case we measure it using energy meter. So there is a terminology energy meter constant. So if we consider our setup which is there in our college, it is having EMC of 3200 impulse per kilowatt hour. So 10 impulse, convert this R into seconds, so multiply by 3600 in the numerator, divided by, this will be time taken for 10 impulse into EMC, and this EMC is 3200 impulse per kilowatt hour. So from here we can calculate actual COP. Now second type of COP is theoretical COP. Theoretical COP is refrigerating effect upon compressor work, and that is given by H1 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1. So this will be pressure versus enthalpy diagram, vapor dome, and suppose this is a standard VCRS. So 1 to 2 will be compression, 2 to 3 will be constant pressure heat rejection in condenser, 3 to 4 is isenthalpic expansion, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat absorption in evaporator. So H1 minus H4 refrigerating effect divided by H2 minus H1 compressor work. Next type of COP is ideal COP, or it is also known as Carnot COP. Now why I am explaining you all these names? Because in exam it's not necessary that they will say Carnot COP, they can even say ideal COP. So when ideal COP is asked, you have to calculate Carnot COP. Now what is Carnot COP of refrigerator? It is defined if T high is the higher temperature and TL is the lower temperature. In that case, Carnot COP of refrigerator, it is T low upon T high minus T low, and please remember that here the temperature, it should be in Kelvin. Okay, now T low temperature is what? Evaporator temperature, and T high temperature is what? Condenser temperature. So accordingly you have to substitute the values in Kelvin and you will get Carnot COP or ideal COP. Next definition is performance index. It is also known as system efficiency index, SEI. Okay, SEI, it is comparison between two COP. Actual COP, it is ratio of actual COP to Carnot COP. So actual COP will be this one, and this one is Carnot COP. Next COP, it is called relative COP. Now relative COP, it is actual COP upon theoretical COP. So SEI is actual COP upon Carnot COP, and relative COP is actual COP upon theoretical COP. Okay. Now we will start with the numerical. We will be solving two numericals today. An ammonia plant. So here refrigerant has been given ammonia. An ammonia plant having capacity of 10 TR. Okay, so I will write down capacity is equal to 10 TR. Is working at an evaporator temperature of -5 degrees Celsius. So evaporator means TE temperature, which is T low temperature, it is minus 5 degrees Celsius. A condenser temperature of 30 degrees Celsius, so TC equal to T high equal to 30 degrees Celsius. Now remember that when we are solving numericals, we have solved considering temperature values. Okay, so if pH diagram is there, pH chart is there, we mark the saturation temperatures first, and then based on whether superheating is there for 0.1, whether subcooling is there for 0.3, we draw the vapor compression cycle. But it can happen that instead of giving temperature in question, saturation pressure is given. Okay, so suppose this, instead of condenser temperature, HP is given, and instead of evaporator temperature, LP is given. So what we have to do on pH chart, y-axis is pressure, so we have to draw a horizontal line, it will be HP, and draw a horizontal line over here, this will be LP, and then you have to draw the cycle, vapor compression cycle, based on the given condition, whether 0.1 is superheated or not, or whether 0.3 is subcooled or not. So that also variation you have to keep in mind. Okay, here in question temperature is given, so we are drawing according to temperature, but if pressure is given, we have to solve the numerical according to the pressure, saturation pressure, and that type we have already seen in practical session. Okay, so if pressure is given, how to draw the cycle, that it was explained during the practical session. Okay, now we'll read the next data. The refrigerant is subcooled by 4 degrees Celsius. Now here what is written? Subcooled by. Okay, it is not 2. So this by means it will be difference. So T sub temperature, it will be condensing temperature, it is 30 degrees Celsius minus 4. Okay, so it will be 26 degrees Celsius. So subcooling has been given in the question before entering the expansion valve, and vapor is superheated by, it is given by, okay, by 4 degrees Celsius. So this is degree of subcooling and this one is degree of superheat. So 4 degrees Celsius means what will be the point here? It will be for point number 1, compressor inlet, and what is the lower temperature? It is minus 5. So minus 5 plus 4. Okay, so it will be T superheat, T sup, for 0.1 we can write that value, it will be minus 1 degree Celsius. Whereas if you see T subcooling, that subcooling will be for point number 3. Condenser outlet is point number 3 and point number 1 is compressor inlet. Now we will draw, based on this information, a pH diagram. Okay, so I will draw a pH diagram over here. So this is pH diagram. We can show vapor dome. Okay, then we will show the higher temperature and then we will show lower temperature. So we have marked T high temperature. Now this T high temperature, it is 30 degrees Celsius, and T low temperature, it is minus 5 degrees Celsius. Okay, next we will show superheating. Okay, superheating for 0.1, it is minus 1. So somewhere over here we'll have minus 1 like this. So suppose this is minus 1 degree Celsius and subcooling temperature, it is 26. So we will show that also. So this is 26 degrees Celsius. Okay, now we will show 0.1. Okay, 0.1 will be, you have to draw HP and LP first. Okay, so suppose this is high pressure and bottom side, this line, this will be low pressure. Okay, now this curve minus 1, okay, that is superheated temperature, it intersects over here, so this will be 0.1. So 1 to 2 isentropic compression. Wherever this isentropic curve, it cuts the higher pressure, that will be 0.2. Then we have to go up to subcooling. So this will be 2 to 3. 0.3 is there, and from 3 to 4 it is vertical. Okay, and 4 to 1 it will be horizontal. And then draw the arrows. Okay. Now we'll see the data again. A 2-cylinder single acting compressor. So C is equal to 2. Single acting compressor N is given 900 rpm. Neglecting heat loss through cylinder walls and clearance effect, determine mass of ammonia flowing per minute. So we have to calculate mass flow rate of refrigerant. First we will calculate it in kg per second and then convert to kg per minute. Okay, now this we have to calculate using this TR. Okay, where this heat is absorbed in evaporator during process 4 to 1. Then COP, it will be refrigerating effect H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. If it is not given, we calculate usually theoretical COP. Next one, bore and stroke, assuming stroke is, so L is equal to 1.5 bore. Okay, now here in this numerical, Cp of vapor for 0.1, it is not given, and Cp of liquid for 0.3, it is not given. So we have to plot this on pH diagram. Okay, so I have already plotted it. We'll go through this. So this diagram is R717 ammonia. It was given in the question ammonia. Then higher temperature is 30, lower temperature is -5. So here you can see. Now observe the point over here. This point 30 degrees Celsius, it is below this pressure. So draw it carefully. Mark here 30, mark here 30, and then draw a temperature line like this first. This is higher temperature. Then lower temperature is -5. So this is -10. This is 0. So here we have -5. Draw a -5 temperature line. Okay, this will be -5 temperature line. Then after that, subcooling for 0.3, it is given by, subcooling is by 4 degrees Celsius and superheat is also by 4. So subcooling, it will be 30, this is 30, and we will have 26 degrees Celsius. So this is 20, this is 30, here we have 25, so this will be 26. Okay, so from 26 I have drawn vertical. Wherever that vertical intersects this horizontal, that will be 0.3. Now after drawing the T high temperature and T low temperature, we have to draw HP line and we have to draw LP line. It covers the complete chart. Here you can see. Then we have marked 0.3. What about 0.1? For 0.1 superheating is given. Now 0.1 actual temperature, if you see, it is given in the question -5 saturation temperature. It is superheated by 4. Okay, so -5 plus 4 -1. So here you can see on saturated vapor curve we have 0. Below that we have here this point as -10. So this is -10. Be careful, this line is not -10. Understand this properly. Here you can see this right angle is shown. So it is above this line and below this line. Same way, this point is -10. Okay, it is below this horizontal and above this horizontal. So make sure you mark that -10 properly. So this is -10 and this is 0, and we have -1. Okay, so this will be -1. Okay, don't get confused. This line, it is pressure line. It is not temperature line. So this -10, it is for this point. Okay, it will be opposite of this one. Okay, you can see here. So be careful. So from here you have to transfer this -1 on this low pressure. Wherever it intersects, that will be 0.1. Now just you have to complete the cycle. Follow these are isentropic curves. So 1 to 2 will be isentropic compression. 2 to 3, it will be constant pressure, heat rejection in condenser. 3 to 4, is isenthalpic. Why isenthalpic? You can see x-axis, enthalpy is there. So isenthalpic expansion, and then 4 to 1. So here pressure and temperature drops, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat absorption in evaporator. Okay. So after marking the cycle, you have to read the values of all the points. So point 1, it is taken on x-axis. Okay, we'll see the point, what is the value. This is 1460 and this one is 1480, and in between we have 10 lines. Okay, so this center, fifth division, it will be 1470. So one division is 2 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so 1460, 62, 64 and 66. So H1 is 1466 kilojoule per kg. Next, now in question it has been asked to calculate bore and stroke. Okay, so eventually we would require, when we are calculating bore and stroke, what is the formula? V dot 1 is equal to piston displacement multiplied by volumetric efficiency. So there na, on left hand side V dot 1 is there. There V dot 1 we calculate using m dot r into specific volume of 0.1. So that is why we have to read specific volume also of 0.1. Now here you can see these dotted lines. These are specific volume lines. Okay, so here you can see it is given constant volume meter cube per kg. Unit is meter cube per kg, so it is specific volume. And value you can see, this is 1.5 line. Then if you see this value, it is 1. So value, it is increasing in this direction. Okay, so for point number 1, which is shown over here, this hidden line, what is the value? It is this is 0.3 and this is 0.4. So this dotted line, it will be 0.5, and this curve, it is this point 1, it is slightly below this. So we have considered specific volume of 0.1 as 0.36 meter cube per kg. Now obviously this is chart method, so there will be some variation when we calculate the answers. That is fine, but the variation should not be large. Now extend the point to on the x-axis. Okay, so here we have 1620, this is 1640. So center will be 1630. So one division, it is equal to 2 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so point is over here. So this is 30, 32, 34 and 36. So H2 value is 1636 kilojoule per kg, and then H3 will be equal to H4. So extend this point and we'll read this value. So this will be H3 is equal to H4 equal to 320, approximately 320 kilojoule per kg. Okay. Now after getting the enthalpy values, we have to write down these values. We have read the values, so I'll write down from pH chart. What are the values? H1 is equal to 1466 kilojoule per kg. H2 is equal to 1636 kilojoule per kg, and H3 equal to H4 is equal to 320 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so we have read the values of all the enthalpies from pH chart. Now what is the first question? We have to calculate mass flow rate. How to calculate this? Q dot A is from 4 to 1, refrigerating effect or heat absorbed. So that will be 3.5 into capacity equal to mass of refrigerant into higher enthalpy H1 minus lower enthalpy H4. So I'll write down first part, mass flow rate of refrigerant, unit asked is kg per minute. So we will use Q dot A equal to 3.5 into capacity is equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into H1 minus H4. Okay, so 3.5 into capacity is given as 10 equal to m dot r. H1 is 1466 minus H4 320. So from here we can calculate m dot r, which is equal to 0.0305 kg per second. Now the unit has been asked in kg per minute, so multiply by 60. So m dot r is equal to 1.832 kg per minute. This is answer number 1. What is the second question? We have to calculate COP. Now this COP, it is not given. Okay, we have to calculate theoretical COP. What is theoretical COP? Refrigerating effect upon compressor work. H1 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1. Second part, COP we have to calculate, and we are calculating theoretical COP. So COP is equal to refrigerating effect upon compressor work. Refrigerating effect, it will be H1 minus H4 upon compressor work H2 minus H1. H1 value, it is 1466 minus 320 divided by 1636 minus 1466. So from here we can calculate theoretical COP, which is equal to 6.74. Okay, now what is the next question given? We have to calculate bore and stroke of the cylinder. So bore means diameter and stroke means L. Okay, and a relation has been given here. Stroke is 1.5 times of bore. Now here volumetric efficiency is not given in the question. Okay, we have to assume volumetric efficiency as 1. Next, number of cylinder C is 2, and this is single acting. So in this case, N dash is equal to N, which is equal to 900 RPM. So I'll write down calculation of bore and stroke. So third question, it is calculation of bore D and stroke L. And for this question, what relation is given? L is equal to 1.5 times diameter. Now what is the equation which we have to use? V dot 1. Why V dot 1? Because for compressor, we see at the entry what is the volume flow rate. Okay, that is why. So V dot 1 is equal to C into pi by 4 D square into L into N dash by 60 into volumetric efficiency. Okay, we'll assume volumetric efficiency equal to 1, that is 100%. And what is V dot 1? V dot 1 is mass of refrigerant into specific volume of 0.1. What is mass of refrigerant? We have calculated. Okay, now be careful. In this equation, here this RPM is given. Okay, N dash is equal to N and we are considering RPM. Okay, now this RPM is converted into RPS divided by 60 here. Okay, so this left hand side value, it should be meter cube per second. It should not be meter cube per minute. So when you are calculating V dot 1, this mass flow rate of refrigerant, it should be kg per second. Okay, so I'll show you the unit part. So mass flow rate, it should be in kg per second, and volume, specific volume, it should be in meter cube per kg. So that finally unit is meter cube per second on left hand side. Okay, so be careful when you are solving this. So mass flow rate of refrigerant, we have to take the value in kg per second. Be careful. Don't take this kg per minute. So I'll substitute the value. Mass flow rate is equal to 0.0305 multiplied by specific volume of 0.1. This we have read on pH chart that specific volume is 0.36 meter cube per kg. So I'll write down the value 0.36. Okay, so this will be left hand side part, unit will be meter cube per second, V.1, left hand side of this equation. So we can substitute the values now. 0.0305 into 0.36 is equal to C is 2. Be careful. So 2 into pi by 4 into C is equal to 2, number of cylinders. Okay, 2 into pi by 4 d square into L, it is given as 1.5 d into 1.5 d into n dash. N dash is equal to n because single acting. So we are converting RPM into RPS divided by 60 multiplied by volumetric efficiency 1. So from here we can calculate diameter or bore, it is equal to 0.0677 meter. You can convert this to centimeter, and length or stroke length, it is equal to 0.1015 meter. So these are the answers. So we have completed this numerical and calculated bore and stroke as well. Next question. This will be last numerical on VCRS. Okay, after that we will be starting with the theory part. Okay, a refrigerant plant using R22 produces 1000 kg of ice at minus 10 degrees Celsius from water at 40 degrees Celsius. So water is at 40, from there that water is converted to ice at minus 10. So what is the use of this data? From here we can calculate Q dot A. Okay, here capacity directly is not given. So from this data we have to calculate Q dot A in kilojoule per second. Per hour is given. So this heat we have to remove in per hour. So that will be divided by 3600. The ambient temperature is 40 degrees Celsius and the temperature in the refrigerator is minus 20 degrees Celsius. So I'll write down the data. What is this ambient temperature? It will be T high. T high, it is also T condenser. That temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. Whereas, now here be careful, ice temperature is minus 10, but refrigerator temperature, it is minus 20. So T low, it is minus 20, which is equal to T evaporator minus 20 degrees Celsius. Now on pH chart, we won't be using this minus 10 anywhere. Be careful. The refrigerant enters compressor as saturated vapor. So 0.1 is on saturated vapor and leaves the compressor at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, now this is the tricky part for this type of question. So here it is not that the compression is isentropic. This is case of non-isentropic compression. So I'll write down, we'll see how this is non-isentropic. So this numerical, it is non-isentropic compression. Then these are the things which we have to calculate. Okay, so I'll draw the pH diagram here first. Now here Cp of vapor, it is not given. Okay, anyways it is saturated vapor 0.1 and nothing is given about subcooling. So we assume that subcooling is not there. So 0.3, it will be saturated liquid. What is 0.3? Outlet of condenser. So according to this data, I'll draw the pH diagram now. Pressure versus enthalpy diagram. This is for which refrigerant? R22. Okay, now we'll draw the vapor dome. Okay. Now higher temperature, it is 40 degrees Celsius. So T high is equal to Tc equal to 40 degrees Celsius. Then T low temperature, it is minus 20. So T low equal to T evaporator is equal to minus 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, now one extra data is given here, that this compression, it will start from point 1, which is on saturated vapor curve, but this will not be isentropic. Why? Because compressor outlet temperature is given here. What is that temperature? Refrigerant leaves the compressor at 100 degrees Celsius. So at this location, what we will do, first we will draw the high pressure curve, high pressure line. So this will be HP, and bottom, this will be LP. Now what this pH diagram indicates, whatever process is there, okay, this temperature is constant temperature. Here also this temperature is constant temperature, and this is constant pressure, this is constant pressure. Now for this vapor dome, where latent heat is there, where we have vapor plus liquid, okay, here you can see temperature and pressure, they both overlap. Okay, so temperature anyways, this is constant temperature, this is constant temperature, and this constant pressure. So basically in vapor dome, temperature is remaining constant as well as pressure is remaining constant. If you see point 2, what is the temperature given? Compressor outlet, it is given as 100 degree. So this is 40, I'll draw 100 degree now. So this, suppose this is 100 degree Celsius. This curve is 100 degree Celsius curve. So it might happen that isentropic process is like this, but since the outlet temperature of compressor is given, process will be like this, it will be non-isentropic. So it will be polytropic process. So I'll draw 1 to 2 like this. So this is point 1, this is point 2, and subcooling is not there. So point 3 will be on saturated liquid, and then 3 to 4 vertical. So 1 to 2 in this case, it is non-isentropic compression. Then 2 to 3, it is constant pressure heat rejection in condenser. 3 to 4, isenthalpic expansion where pressure and temperature drops, and 4 to 1 is constant pressure heat absorption Q dot A in evaporator. Okay, so based on this, now we have to plot the cycle on pH diagram. Why? Because Cp of liquid and Cp of vapor, it is not given, and it is not required also, because point 1 we are considering on saturated vapor, and point 3 we have considered on saturated liquid. Okay, for point 1 data was given, and for point 3 nothing was told, so we took it on saturated liquid curve. Okay, so we'll go to the given chart. What is the given refrigerant? R22. So we have to see the pressure enthalpy diagram of R22 refrigerant only. Now what is the higher temperature given? 40. Lower temperature is minus 20. So just observe how I have marked here. Okay, higher temperature T high. Now this, observe the point here. Even though 40 is written here, this line is not 40. Remember, that is pressure line. Here you can see these right angles are there. Those are temperature, and here also there will be right angle. that is not visible because I have already plotted it. Okay, so here there will be a right angle, so that temperature is 40. So be careful, this is pressure line. Okay, and these are temperature values on the saturation curve. So this is 40, higher temperature, so I have marked higher temperature first. This is 40 degrees Celsius. TH equal to TC. Then T low temperature, it is -20. So this you can see, this is -10, right angle is there, then -20. Again here be careful, this -20, it is not this horizontal. Okay, here -20 right angle will be given. Similarly, this is -30. So from -20 on this side and -20 on this side. Now here also you have to be careful. Here you can observe that these curves are dropping down. Okay, these will be the temperature values. Okay, so here you can see from this point 30, it is going in this direction. So this is 30 degrees Celsius. Now here this 10 degrees Celsius, it is not this horizontal one. Okay, here you can see this curve. This will be 10 degrees Celsius. 20 degrees Celsius will be this one. Okay, so this you have to take care. So here you have to mark -20, here you have to mark -20, and then draw 20 degrees Celsius constant temperature line. Okay, then after this I have drawn horizontal. Okay, now wherever this we have this point, okay, these two points are joined by a line. Okay, here also we have line. So just draw HP and LP. Okay, so this, through this line, that HP line will pass. Okay, so I have drawn HP line, written HP over here. Now from this temperature, okay, LP line will pass. So here you can see this latent heat part, they will overlap, temperature and pressure. Okay, so this will be LP pressure line. Now point 1 is saturated vapor. So here you can see point 1 is saturated. What about point 2? Be careful. Now from point 1, don't follow this isentropic. Okay, this will be the usual thing which we usually do. We follow isentropic. But here what is given? Temperature of point 2 is given. What is that temperature? 100. So here you can observe these are constant temperature. Okay, so this will be, this is 10, right? So here this will be vertical, then horizontal, and then this is that 10 degrees Celsius. Here you can read the temperature value on bottom side also. So from here you have to read that 100 degrees Celsius. So 100 degrees Celsius, this is the curve. Wherever this curve intersects the higher pressure curve, that is why we draw this higher pressure. Okay, there we will get 0.2. Now here you can clearly see that this 1 to 2, it is not parallel to this isentropic curves. Okay, so this is isentropic and this is also isentropic. And here you can see 1 to 2. It is crossing in between. Okay, so this is polytropic. So 1 to 2 is polytropic compression. Then 0.3 we have considered as saturated liquid, since it is not given in question. So from 0.2, draw horizontal. Follow the constant pressure till the saturation curve, that will be 0.3. Then draw vertical from 3 to 4, this is expansion, enthalpy remains constant, and 4 to 1, again you have to draw horizontal, it is constant pressure, heat absorption in evaporator. Now after drawing this, read the value of 0.1 enthalpy. Okay, take this point on x-axis. Okay, now observe this, we have taken this 0.1 on x-axis. Okay, so that we can read the value. This is 390, this is, here this is 400, this is 395, 396, 397. So H1 is 397 kilojoule per kg. Then 0.2, here it is marked with respect to 100 degrees Celsius. This is 100 degrees Celsius and this is high pressure. Okay, so this point enthalpy, this is 460, this is 470. So 465, 66, 67, 68, 69. So H2 is 469 kilojoule per kg. And 0.3 enthalpy, this enthalpy, this is 230, 240 and 250. So H3 is 250 kilojoule per kg. So we have got all the values of enthalpy. I'll write down from pH chart. H1 is equal to 397 kilojoule per kg. H2 is equal to 469 kilojoule per kg, and H3 equal to H4 is equal to 250 kilojoule per kg. Now what is the first question? COP of the cycle. COP will be refrigerating effect, H1 minus H4 upon compressor work, H2 minus H1. First calculation is COP. This will be theoretical COP. So COP equation, theoretical COP, it is refrigerating effect upon compressor work. So H1 minus H4 upon H2 minus H1. Substitute the values, 397 minus 250 divided by 469 minus 397. So COP is equal to 2.041. This is answer number 1. Now question 2, you have to calculate refrigeration load. It will be this Q dot A value. Now for this, what data is given? Water is at 40 and ice is at minus 10. So I'll write down the second part. You have to calculate Q dot A. Okay, so ice temperature, water temperature, it is given water is at 40 degrees Celsius. What about the mass? Mass is given as 1000 kg. So 40 to minus 10 ice. So 40,000 kg. Then water will be at 0 degrees Celsius. Mass is 1000 kg. Here we are considering same mass. Then ice is there. It will be at 0 degrees Celsius and same mass 1000 kg. Then ice is there. Ice temperature finally, it is minus 10 degrees Celsius. Be careful. Here refrigerator temperature is minus 20, means evaporator temperature is minus 20, but ice temperature, it is minus 10. Okay, why? Because here you can see minus 20 evaporator temperature. From there we can get higher temperature ice, right? It is minus 10. You cannot use minus 20 to get minus 30 ice. Okay, system should be at lower temperature as compared to ice temperature. Okay, that is why the data is like this. Now from first part, what type of heat has to be released? Here temperature changes. Okay, so this will be sensible heat. Mass of water into Cp of water into higher temperature is 40 minus lower temperature is 0. Okay, now mass of water, it is 1000 into Cp of water, we have to assume 4.187 kilojoule per kg Kelvin into temperature difference is 40. Okay. Second, here temperature is 0 of water and ice is 0. So there will be phase change. Okay, so this part will be latent heat. What is equation of this? Mass into latent heat. So mass is 1000 into, you have to remember this latent heat of ice, it is 335 kilojoule per kg. Okay, from here we can get that value of heat which we have to remove. And last part, this will be ice at 0, its temperature is reduced till minus 10. So this will be sensible heat is removed. So what will be the equation? Mass of ice into Cp of ice into higher temperature is 0 minus lower temperature is minus 10. Okay, now mass of ice, it is 1000. You have to remember Cp of ice. If it is not given, it is 2.1. So Cp of ice, you have to assume 2.1 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Cp of water, we have to assume 4.187 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. Okay, then HFG, latent heat of vaporization for ice, this we have to assume 335 kilojoule per kg. Remember these values. Okay, so 2.1 into this will be 10. So from here we can calculate Q dot A. What will be Q dot A? It will be addition of this value plus this value plus this value. This is the total amount of heat if removed from 1000 kg of water at 40 degrees Celsius. It will get converted to ice at 1000 kg and temperature is -10. So this much amount of heat has to be removed. So we'll add this and calculate total Q dot A. So this is 523.48 into 10 raised to 3. So here we are calculating this value Q dot, not Q dot A, this is QA, because this value will be in kilojoule. Then we have to consider time. So QA unit will be kilojoule. Okay, now what will be the rate? This is asked in the question, rate at which heat needs to be removed. Now this value, it will be equal to whatever QA we have calculated divided by time. Now what is time given for 1000 kg of water at 40 degrees Celsius? We have to convert it to ice at -10. In what time? Per hour. Okay, so we have to divide by, convert that hour into seconds. So this time is per hour. How to convert? Denominator 1 hour is there. Convert it in seconds. So multiply by 3600. So Q dot A finally, it will be equal to QA, which is 523.48 into 10 to the power 3 divided by time is 1 hour. Convert it to seconds, 3600. So Q dot A is equal to 145.41 kilojoule per second. So if this much amount of heat is removed, then only 40 degrees Celsius water, 1000 kg, it will get converted to ice at -10. Okay, this is the meaning of this Q dot A. So this much amount of heat per second has to be removed. Then only we will get ice in 1 hour. Okay. Now next question. Mass flow rate through plant. Okay, now Q dot A we have calculated. Okay, from there we can calculate mass flow rate. So I'll write down next heading M dot R. Third calculation M dot R. How to calculate? Q dot A is equal to mass flow rate of refrigerant into, where is this Q dot A absorbed? In evaporator. So H1 minus H4. Q dot A value 145.41 equal to M dot R we have to calculate, and H1 value 397 minus H4 value 250. From here I can calculate M dot R, which is equal to 0.9891 kg per second. So if this mass flow rate of refrigerant is maintained, understand meaning of that mass flow rate. Okay, for the given system, for the given pH diagram, okay, if these conditions are maintained, and if we maintain 0.9891 kg of refrigerant per second in the cycle, okay, in the evaporator, then only 1000 kg of water which is at 40 degrees Celsius will get converted to ice at -10 degrees Celsius in 1 hour. Okay, why? Because time we have taken as 1 hour. This is meaning of this. So mass flow rate of refrigerant in evaporator per second. Okay, kg per second. Then third question, it is power consumption. Where is power consumed in compressor? We have calculated mass flow rate. What will be W dot C? It will be M dot R, mass flow rate of refrigerant, into H2 minus H1. So fourth sub question, power consumption. This will be W dot C. Okay, here power is written, that is why we are calculating W dot C and multiplying H2 minus H1 by mass flow rate. If only work is asked, work consumed by compressor, then it will be small WC. Just enthalpy difference you have to take, H2 minus H1. Okay, so power consumed by compressor is mass flow rate of refrigerant into enthalpy difference H2 minus H1 equal to 0.9891 into H2 469 minus H1 397. So compressor power, it is 71.2152 kilowatt. And fifth sub question, what is fifth sub question? Capacity. Now we have already calculated Q dot A. What is capacity? How to calculate Q dot A? It is 3.5 into capacity. So capacity will be Q dot A upon 3.5. Okay, and Q dot A we have already calculated. So next question is capacity. Sub question number 5, capacity of plant. This will be Q dot A is equal to 3.5 into capacity. Q dot A value we have calculated over here, 145.41 kilojoule per second. Q dot A is 145.41 equal to 3.5 into capacity. So from here we can calculate capacity, which is equal to 41.54 tons of refrigeration, TR. So we'll stop over here and continue with types of compressor, condenser, expansion device, evaporator, cooling towers and refrigerants from next lecture.